Hello, everybody. Welcome to the channel. My name is Lindsay, and this is Life with Lindsay. Today, we have a WIP Chat. If you do not know what a WIP Chat is, that is when I work on my current work in progress, or WIP, and you can work alongside with whatever it is you're working on. So it can be a craft project, it can be a house project. I've had people listen while they're driving to work, at work, just hanging out at home, doing laundry, you know, all the fun stuff and all the boring stuff. There is no right way or wrong way to WIP Chat. I am currently working on Rainbow Fairy from Jaz Higgins. I will link the unboxing up in the eye for you guys. If you watched my previous WIP Chat, you saw me talking about working out of baggies. Update, I still don't like it, so anyway, if you guys are new here, hi, welcome. I hope that you enjoy what you see here, I guess mainly here, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys hit that notification bell and give this video 2 thumbs up. So I am just pulling out a color. I'm working on a pretty big area. If you are new here and you hear me talking about free range diamond painting at any point, this is what I'm talking about. I don't work on very small contained areas. I'm working on a huge section. If you're looking on camera, it actually goes below where I'm filming. Hey, here we go. Anyway, that's not why you guys are here. So I just want to start off by saying a huge thank you to everyone who has reached out to me since my mother was in the hospital, to see how she's doing, to see how I'm doing, see if there's any progress. Quite a few people put her on, a prayer chain, or just kept her in her thoughts and her prayers. And I'm going to be kind of going a little bit back and forth here, but I wanted to start this off on a very positive note and let you guys know my mother is now home. She is resting and recovering, and I can't thank you guys enough for all of your love and support, truly from the bottom of my heart. So thank you guys for all your kind words, and for everyone who checked in or who left a comment. If you guys hear that noise in the background, my husband is in the room. He is working. If you guys don't know my husband, he is the DaddaMonster. You can find him here on Instagram. You can find him here, and on Instagram, as well as on Etsy and Facebook. And he customizes Funko Pops, and that sound is his heat gun. Nobody has ever asked me what it was, and I think that's because I always say what it is. But if you guys are ever
Better they don't hear it.
I think you can hear it, because I've listened back when I edit, but not the point. Anyway, so I had mentioned in my last WIP Chat that I was hoping to maybe try to vlog our trip. Spoiler alert, that did not happen. So let me tell you a little bit about our week, or a lot about our week. It depends on how much time we have and how much sanity I have by the end of it. So Monday, we switched speech from Wednesdays to Mondays. Okay, you guys, this sucks. And it's such petty stuff to complain about. But our services started when my kiddo turned 3. She'll be 4 in November. We've had the same services with the same providers. Other than we had to switch OT at one point because the original occupational therapist was garbage. And if you've been here long enough, you've already heard the stories of the god-awful experiences we've had with her. So, I'm trying to figure out what I want to say and how I want to say it without it coming across the wrong way. So, we had our 3-week summer break, then our 2-week back in school, and then our 3-week summer break. My speech teacher let us know prior to our 3-week break, that our second 3-week break. And if you guys are not interested in the school stuff, I'm not going to be on this for very long. So hopefully you hang in there. So we knew coming back from break, we were going to be switching to Monday. So then I changed that up. And then my OT is oh, well, since Briar's not going to be in a classroom, we actually have to change when our sessions are. And I'm oh. And then she goes, all I have available is afternoons. If you guys have children, please let me know if yours is the same way. My child is like a total disaster after like late afternoon. Anytime after lunch until she goes to bed, she's like a nightmare. So I really don't want to put her in a learning environment where she gets 25 minutes with the teacher twice a month and it basically be ruined by her shit attitude. You know what I mean? So I let her know. I was like, look, that doesn't work for me. That I'm not available for sessions in the afternoon. And then she comes back and says, well, you know what? We'll just stay where we are. And I'm like, why did you tell me we had to switch everything if you really could stay at that time? So technically, because of where her centralized caseload is, she should not be ROT. But the woman who is assigned to our area is the woman we used to have, who is awful, and I absolutely refuse to work with her. Absolutely. I will not do it. I'd rather lose my OT services than go back to this woman. So, she emails me last night and says, hey, I think that Briar would really benefit from in-person services, and you're within a half hour of my house, so, as long as that's approved, I will be coming to your house. And I'm like, oh, okay. And trust me, my daughter definitely needs in-person OT, because, like, look, they want to do, like, virtual potty training. In-person potty training is not going well. How do you think it's going to work well on virtual potty training? And a bunch of other things. Like, I can't show my daughter how to properly do things because I'm not a trained OT. And, like, one thing I want to work on, which it's not, you know, a huge thing, but I want to work with her on stickers, like how to peel stickers from the backing, which is a very age-appropriate thing, but she gets super, super frustrated, and then it can, like, ruin her whole day. And so, like, I'd like to work on those fine motor skills, if possible, which, like, how the hell am I supposed to show my kid how to do it over a computer screen when I can't even show her in person? Like, anyway, so the OT comes back to me and says, like, I still haven't heard back from my supervisor. And I'm thinking, you emailed me on a Saturday night. I can't imagine that the school supervisor is going to get back to you on a Sunday about it. But as far as I know, we still have a session scheduled for tomorrow with her. But here's the thing. It used to be every other week we would have OT on Mondays and then, OT on Mondays. And then the in-between weeks we would have special education on Fridays, and then every week on Wednesday I had speech. Well, now I've got speech every Monday, and then every other Monday I have OT as well. So, and they're not both at my house, so we have to go from my house to the speech teacher's office, and I'm just like, I understand that it's like back to school and everything is chaotic, but I feel like I'm not being kept in the loop of my daughter's care, which is very frustrating. I've got one teacher who gives me, like, as much information as she possibly can and is constantly giving me updates. And then I've got another teacher who, like, I feel like I'm, like, pulling teeth just find out, like, when am I going to see you next? Like, anyway, so, we had speech on Monday, our new time frame. And let me tell you, I feel like my daughter needs a helmet. Let me preface this by saying I don't mean, like, a corrective helmet. I mean, like, this child, her skull had so many collisions on Monday with hard surfaces, and then it continued throughout the week. On Monday, she threw a massive tantrum because she didn't want to leave speech. Okay, fine. Ran headfirst into the glass doors. They didn't open, so then she fell, and then was upset, and then threw more of a tantrum, and threw herself on the floor, and then smacked her head on the, you know, concrete covered by minimal carpet. I'm like, oh my God, this kid's head. And that was twice in the span of, like, 3 minutes. She's fine, you guys, in case I can hear somebody gasping right now, being like, did she have a concussion? Is she okay? She's okay. If you guys hear, like, lullaby kind of sounds, we've changed the sounds of the ocean to relaxing music, although I will say, we were doing relaxing music for toddlers, and we would hear, like, late at night, like, songs like with words that she normally listens to, or some very odd music. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? So she told my husband the other day, she's like, the toddler one plays weird music. And I thought, okay, that's cute. But then she told me the other day, I told Daddy the toddler one has weird music. And I'm like, okay, so she's reiterating to us she does not want the toddler. So we do the baby, and it's a lot of like musical lullabies, like piano lullabies and stuff like that. So if you hear that, her monitor is right next to me. So, anyway, we did that in speech. Like, she loves her speech teacher, and we love her speech teacher. Then her teacher was telling us, like, oh, the OT called her to see if they could combine services. Now, Briar does speech in, like, a glorified closet. And it's fine. It works. It works for her. It works for her teacher. It works for us. And we sit out in the hallway. And when she's done, the teacher goes over with us. But I guess the OT wanted to join services, and she had to explain to her, like, I don't have the parents in the room, so you can't do parent involvement. And also, like, I don't get that much time. You know, I get a half hour with our speech teacher, and I would really rather it be spent being productive, personally, than to try to go back and forth between two specialists who are basically fighting for the same time. So it's not going to work, and that's totally fine, because the things that we're working on in speech or not, you can't really tie them to what the OT wants to work on. So anyway, we did that, and then Tuesday we went ice skating. I think I mentioned in my last, I did, that our coach, I don't know what happened, but it definitely was an emergency surgery that happened, and we actually got an email this week from the director of the skate program, who had to cancel all of the Thursday classes for the rest of the session because they don't have a coach that can do that session. Now, I know, because I was talking to him and the other coach, they were trying to cancel the Tuesday session, and like me, for example, I can't do the Monday night 6:45 session, because 6:45 to 7:45, that's like our kids' bedtime. And then it's, 35 minutes from our house. By the time we get home, my kid's going to be exhausted, but not be in pajamas, unless I let her ice skate in pajamas, which nobody would notice. She's in snow pants and a jacket, but not the point. It just wouldn't work for our schedule. And for what I've heard, it's a much larger class. So now Briar is just with the assistant coach, who's running this class. And there are only 4 kids there this week. And I think they said next week they're losing at least 1, if not 2 of those kids, because they started school this week, so they can't do a day session anymore. So I'm intrigued to see how this will go. When I'm filming this, it's Sunday. You guys will see it on Monday, unless technology hates me, which is totally plausible. So I'm hoping that we have no issues with the Tuesday session. But because the director, Coach Ben, does things a certain way, he wanted the assistant coach to do those things. And she and I were talking, and she's like, I'm not here to, like, play these games. I'm just here to teach these kids how to skate. Which we, as parents, totally appreciate that, So she brought out the bucket of stuffed animals that Coach Ben had used the previous week. And it caused issues this week again. No surprise. She claimed a kitty, and then she refused to give it back, and spent the rest of the session with this cat, stuffed cat, perched under her armpit. So when they had to put their arms out, for example, to do their twirls, she only had one arm out because the other one was keeping track of that kitty. And then we heard her, like, screaming at her coach because her coach told her, like, you need to put the cat down. And I'm like, Jesus. Like, this kid she's not mean to other people. She's, like, mean to mommy and daddy, but that's totally normal parenting stuff. So when we heard her, like, being mean to her coach because she had the cat that she wasn't supposed to still have, and it's not the coach's place to, like, parent my child, Or maybe you don't. I don't know. I was like, great, this sucks. So she kind of did like a swift maneuver and took it from Briar, and Briar had a massive tantrum on the ice, which was super fun. And I was like, great. I really hope, I don't think, if there's like 2 or 3 of them, I don't think that she's going to pull out the bucket of stuffed animals again. I hope not, at least. But we'll see. So, I mean, I don't care how many kids are in the session, because honestly, like, if it was just Cookie and Briar, she'd be all for it. Like, my kid has left the big group to go skate simply with Cookie, because she gets that one-on-one attention, and Cookie adores my daughter. Like, you have those parents who have multiple kids, and it's very obvious which child is their favorite child. Like, my mother-in-law has made no qualms about it that my husband is by far her favorite child. Whereas, like, my parents are like, we don't have a favorite child. Yes, you do. It's very obvious. It might not be obvious to you, but it's obvious to us. Anyway, so she doesn't hide the fact that she loves my daughter. Pain in the ass or not. So we did that, and then we had our big trip to Baltimore. And like I said, my plan was to do another little mini vlog. And I haven't actually looked at the footage I did get, so I can't even imagine that I could throw something in this video to show you guys. But if I can, I'll insert something here. If not, I just pointed at the screen for no reason.
Yeah, there's some everywhere. The aquarium. That's what the aquarium is. Whoa!
2 turtles.
I can't believe.
You can't believe?
Yeah, I can't believe they're spinning. Whoa.
Whoa!
It's spinning. He's going there.
I think they're bigger than you.
Uh-oh. Is he spinning that water?
Well, no, it stays in there. That's where it lives right now, sweetheart.
You want to see more?
So here's why we don't have a vlog. We brought my daughter to the National Aquarium? Is that what it's called? Yeah, National Aquarium in Baltimore. Which we've been to quite a few times. If you have never been and you'd like to go, just a heads up, you cannot bring a baby stroller. So we opted to, because our check-in was Wednesday, but check-in wasn't until 4 o'clock. So we actually just went right to the aquarium and parked our car at the aquarium, which if you've never been to Baltimore, Baltimore is one of those cities that like you have to pay to park everywhere. There's not like street parking. It is like cities, garages. That's how it is. And normally, like pre-Briar, if we wanted to get from point A to point B, we would walk. And if it was exhausting, we would call an Uber. That's fine, but it's hard to walk a significant amount of distance with a 3-year-old. And I knew if we went with a stroller, I'd have to check it because you can't take it in. So we ended up just going directly to the aquarium. Some bug crawled up my kid's butt, and she was just a disaster. Everything was an argument. She didn't want to cooperate. She wanted to do things her way. And so I got a little bit of footage, but it became too much to try to film anything. And like when I say I got footage, I mean I got like, 10 seconds of a jellyfish exhibit or like a minute of this exhibit. Like I don't have a lot of like raw footage to put together. And it was very apparent that this was just not going to happen. And, that was the last part of our trip that I actually filmed anything for, which was also the very first day of our trip. So if you're wondering why there is no vlog, that right there, my friends, is why there is not. If you guys enjoyed that last vlog, let me know. I will try to do another vlog style video. And if you guys haven't seen it, I'll link it up in the eye. But I find it very hard to do vlogging with my daughter. Because if you don't know, I don't show my kid's face on social media at all. Not on my YouTube, not on my Instagram, not on my personal Facebook, nothing. I don't show her. I might show a shot of her from behind or her feet, or if I can blur out her face or things like that. So it makes it really hard to capture the moments that we're living when I can't include my daughter in them, or have to figure out how to edit her out, which sucks, to be completely honest with you guys. And I've thought about, like, well, maybe I could do some sort of vlog style of, like, me and my husband when, you know, our daughter is napping or something. And then I'm like, but who wants to see that? I don't know. I mean, if you do, let me know. I'm here for what you guys, within reason, what you guys want, content-wise, which...
It's not an option for you, Steph, to leave a comment.
Well, Steph's probably already left a comment. I haven't even uploaded it, and Steph's already left a comment. What was I going to say now? Oh, I have a few things coming up, I know, this week. I'm going to, obviously, I'm filming this, but I'm going to be filming a post review for my Besties of Oz. I've been debating, do I want to film a post review for the Milky Way Galaxy from Diamond Art Club? I feel like most people, unless there's like a major issue, already know what to expect with the Diamond Art Club kit, so I don't know if it's worth it. And to be completely honest with you, I'm not sure that I really feel like filming it, but you know, we make magic around here. So I've got that post review coming. I've got this WIP Chat. I have a PR package unboxing coming. So I got a few things. I've got another video that is ready to go. I just have to publish it. You know, if there's any kind of content that you guys would like to see more of, or something I haven't done yet, you know, just let me know. I'm pretty easy to work with. I do try to, I had somebody try to tell me one time, they're like, well, you should really be batch filming. And I'm like, I do. I don't know about you guys, but I don't have like the luxury of just excessive time. Like if my kid goes to school, then I will probably have a little bit more flexibility, but, you know, I record when my kid's sleeping, and on days where I know I'm going to sacrifice a chunk of my day to film, I try to film as much as I can, and not just because I want to film it and then not have to worry about filming again, like the next day or the next day. That's really loud. But also, if I'm doing a WIP Chat, for example, this is already on my desk. I didn't have to move anything. This is here. It's here. It's loud. It's proud. This is what it's doing. But in order for me to film anything else, I have to take it off my desk. And let me tell you, I don't feel like taking things on and off my desk multiple times in a week. So that's one reason why I batch film. So if you ever see me like in the same outfit in multiple videos, or it seems like my nails have been the same in multiple videos, that's why. Not that it's like ever been a surprise or a secret, but that's just how, that's what works best for me and my schedule. And, everybody's different, you know, I actually just celebrated my 1-year anniversary on YouTube. I didn't even realize it. My daughter has been really interested in seeing videos and photos of my diamond paintings. For anyone who is curious, I don't have a single diamond painting hanging in my house. I'd like to hang a couple, but I have none up right now. So she was asking to see diamond paintings, and I was going through on my Instagram feed, and I noticed, oh wow, this was my 1-year anniversary, and I looked at the date, and I was like, oh, that was like 3 days ago. So, I've been doing this for a year, and if you guys have been here from the very beginning, leave me some kind of party emoji, a confetti, a party hat, whatever party emoji. There's probably like one party emoji, and people are all leaving the same one.
Just
or
like all eggplants.
No, not all eggplants. Thank you, Steph. I'm just kidding. Steph would leave a pineapple or a cactus. But anyway, so I was talking to a fellow creator today, and she was like, oh, you know, I feel like there's always so much more to learn. And I'm like, I still feel like I have no idea what I'm doing. You know, whether that is something that comes across to you guys or not. I honestly just feel like if the content is what people want to see, everything else is just extra. You know, the flares, the good editing, the good lighting, the audio, all of those things are things people can look aside if they really enjoy the content that you're providing. And I hope by having this many people, you know, following me and subscribing to my YouTube channel, that means that there is a good chunk of people out there who are enjoying my content. And, you know, I'm still a small channel, and I think it's pretty cool, as Briar would say, that there are people
Not
who
cool.
seek out, you know, my opinion on things, or, you know, I can't wait till you post something else. And I'm like, wow, like, I'm just Lindsay from Pennsylvania. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not from the block.
Don't be fooled by the rocks that you got.
I don't know if you heard my husband chuckle there, but that was really cute. You probably couldn't because I wanted you to. Don't want you to hear certain things that are clear as day. I want you to hear something and it's super muffled. Anyway, so tangents per usual. But I have been doing this for a year, and I definitely need to upgrade my equipment, which sucks because, like, it costs money. And I, at least as of this point, like, I don't bring in any kind of money from my channel. I'm not monetized. Of course I would love to be soon, but you know, I'm getting to the point now where my phone is like, oh, hey, you don't even have room to save that video. And I'm like, cool. So I erased like 2,000 something files the other day. And then I went to save a video, and it's like, you don't have enough room. And I'm like, how do I not have enough room? Like, I just erased so many videos. So I don't know. If you guys have any tips and tricks for me, let me know. The thing that sucks, and this might just be because I'm using like a free editing software on my cell phone, and I use Android, so if anyone recommends an iPad or iMovie or anything like that, like that's out of my wheelhouse. But I have an Android phone, like I said, and I got an SD card, and I move stuff over on my SD card all the time, just so I have room to do anything else. But I'm also a mom, and I want to have pictures of my kid 8 billion times a day because, well, that's what mom life is all about. And it's quite frustrating because if I film a video and I put it on my SD card, for example, then I can't put it into the video editor. The video editor won't pull anything off of an SD card or let you save to an SD card. Again, might just be the editing software that I'm using, but it is incredibly frustrating. Incredibly frustrating. So, I feel like you're not supposed to be here.
Really?
Nobody's supposed to be here. No, the drill.
Oh.
You live here.
That's why I was worried.
I know. Quick side note. When do holiday orders need to be in by?
October 1st.
If anybody is looking for a custom Funko Pop from the DaddaMonster for the 2021 holiday season, September is right around the corner, but October 1st is your deadline. Any orders made after that cannot be guaranteed to be shipped in time for December delivery. So, just putting that out there. So, back to Baltimore. So, we did that the first night, and then we went and checked into the hotel. We were staying in a hotel. It was a large hotel, but you need to use your key card to operate the elevator, which mine never worked. Never. The whole trip never worked. And then, did we do anything else that night?
No.
We ordered food. So, my husband, if you guys don't know, I feel like I talk about this in every video, which is kind of funny because, like, we never eat it. But my husband is a bit of a pizza snob. He's a pizza aficionado, but he's also a pizza snob. He's willing to eat less than stellar pizza, but it's not his preference. So, we found that the hotel across the street actually had a couple restaurants one of which was a pizzeria. And it was a oven, coal-fired oven, whatever. Brick oven, thank you. The words, they sometimes escape me. So, we ordered from them. We actually got quite a few things. We got a charcuterie board, which is fun to get a charcuterie board to go, like in those little cardboard boxes. So we did that, a salad, and 2 pizzas. And what color did I just pull out? 9. The crescent moon. My goal is to finish this before the month ends for Knox's mini event. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, so we got the pizza. Pizza was good. It could have stayed in the oven like 2 more minutes, but it was really good. I enjoyed it. He enjoyed it. The baby enjoyed it. And then we got real fancy and ordered some cheesecake from the Cheesecake Factory. My husband's like, I'm on vacation. And I was like, all right, let's do it up. And then we just hung out. So
$50 on cheesecake.
Well, I wasn't going to mention that, but you know.
Well, it was what, 4 slices? So I mean, I don't
4 slices and like 2 sides of ice cream and delivery feed. Yeah.
I mean, I consider cheesecake.
I mean, it probably would have cost us more than that had we gone there, paid to park, gotten the food, and then come back.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, so we did that, and I got a room that had 2 beds. If you guys heard the lovely saga of when we took her to Jersey for the ENT appointment, she refused to sleep in the other room. And this is a child who has never co-slept with us. Listen, you do you, but my husband and I, the 2 of us, if you've ever seen us, we're both very large people. And we sleep in a full-size bed. So, there's not room for a 3rd person in our bed. Anyway, we got to the hotel, and the options were Briar in one bed, Mommy and Daddy in the other, or Briar and one parent in one bed, and the other parent in the other bed. So, first night, she told me she wanted me to sleep with her, and I was like, okay. And then as we're, you know, hanging out, she was like, Daddy, I want Daddy. And I'm like, all right. So my husband and Briar slept in the one bed, and I slept in the other. And then, you know, when it was ready for her to go to bed, like, we had to go to bed because we were all in the same room. We couldn't just, like, you know, close the door and go do something else. Like, at home, when we put her to bed, we have a baby monitor and we come upstairs, or we watch a movie, or, you know, whatever it is that we're doing. You can't do that when you're in a hotel, unless you have adjoining rooms, which, again, we did not. So we did that. And then the next day, my husband went downstairs to get a cup of coffee for me. There was like a little like grab and go coffee shop in the hotel.
Quite so like the ones in airports.
Yes, very much like the ones in airports. That's true. And he picked up a coffee for me, and then he picked up a yogurt for the baby. And we brought a bunch of stuff with us. Like, we had some fruit in our bag. We had some other things, which I don't know why we got a yogurt, because we had yogurt upstairs.
I forgot we had yogurt. And I know she likes yogurt.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a big deal, but we did that. And then he was telling Briar the story that the woman who was running the stand was very, like, Eastern European. And he kept saying, oh, ma'am, excuse me, can you tell me where the spoons are? And the woman just looked at him and go, cream and sugar, over there. And he's like, no, I just need a spoon. And cream and sugar, over there. Now, I don't know why my husband, imitating this to our 3-year-old, was like stand-up gold. But you guys, she was laughing so hard, and she's still laughing about it. And she'll go, over there, ha, 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 over there. I'm like, oh my God, kid. She loves it. It's so funny. So now she's actually told that to my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law will be like, hey, Briar, where's the cream and sugar? And Briar will go, over there. And she'll point, like, to nowhere and start laughing like it's the funniest thing she's ever heard. Kids are super weird, and I love that about them. Let's get a little water break. I am with the...
It out. She got right over the Frog-and-Daz joke and right into...
Yeah, okay, well, I don't know if I told the Frog-and-Daz. Well, so I'll tell them now. What kind of ice cream do you give to amphibians? Frog-and-Daz. We told that to my mother-in-law, and she's like, what? I've never heard of that. And we're like, no, it's a joke. And she's like, oh, we tried explaining to her, like Haagen-Dazs, but Fraagen-Dazs. And she's like, oh. Guys, if you ever have to explain something to someone, it's not funny anymore.
It's funny.
So,
But Briar thought that was gold for a while.
yeah. I mean, it is gold. So, the G and the Q are right next to each other, and they are a little bit difficult to tell apart. So if you guys hear me basically pausing for a moment, it's because I'm trying to figure out, excuse me, which one I'm doing. So, anyway, he got that for breakfast. And then we went to the Science Museum, which is fantastic. It is definitely age appropriate for her. It's not the Science Museum, the Kids Museum. We opted to do the Kids Museum over the Science Museum. I feel like maybe I shouldn't have done this color while I'm recording, because it is definitely harder to tell apart. Anyway, so we did that, and the way they did it was really smart. If you guys are watching this in the future, like, yay! But current day, when I'm filming this, we're still very much in the midst of being in a global pandemic. So you can do the morning session, which is 10 to 1. You can come anytime in that time frame, and then you just have to be out by 1. And then the other one is 2 to 5. And if you buy a ticket for the morning session, you can't just come back in the afternoon. You have to actually buy a second one. So what happens is they actually shut the place down in the middle of the day from 1 to 2. And they clean and sanitize everything. I will say masks were required, which is totally fine with me. And they had disinfecting wipes in every single room for every single exhibit. Excuse me. Ooh, I feel like I got a Fraagen-Dazs in my throat. Actually, Fraagen-Dazs would be quite lovely right now. Guys, I am really struggling to tell the difference here. And the colors are so close that I'm sure if I placed the wrong one, like, it wouldn't really affect it that much. But here we are. So we had such a great time. We probably got there at like 10:15. And we were there like till they closed at 1 o'clock. And had it been up to Briar, she would have stayed all day long. She loved it. And as parents, we loved watching her learn and explore through play and really, really enjoying it. And I don't think we've ever been there before.
No.
Okay. There was one room that was like a library room, and they had this genius little setup where they had rocks, like big rocks, and then a little pan of water and a paintbrush. I can't tell you how long my kids stood there and quote unquote painted this rock. I'm like, okay, well, we're going to have to go on a hunt for some big rocks and paint them, because I think it's genius. And she loved it, and I think it would be quite beneficial. But we did that. We read some books. She played with toys. They have a little mini grocery store, which they definitely only had a fraction of the things out. I don't know if they only have those out for the morning session and then swap them out for the afternoon session and then sanitize everything. I assume that's probably what they do. It was great. You guys, we had a fantastic time. Fantastic time. So then we went back to the hotel. We hung out for a little bit, and then we were set to go to an Orioles game. Now, if you don't know, my husband is a huge Baltimore Orioles fan. Cal Ripken is one of his, like, idols, not just sports idols. And if you don't know who Cal Ripken is, he is long since retired, but he is a... Is he a Hall of Fame?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. He's a Hall of Fame baseball player. We actually had to meet him years and years ago, pre-baby. I don't even think we were married yet. He was a super, super, super nice guy. That story is a story for another day, because it's not a very, like, here's a quick story wrapped up in a bow, the end. But we went, and they were playing the Los Angeles Angels, and I'm going to get real sportsy here for a second. So if like this isn't your thing, I'm going to be quick. My husband loves the Orioles. Doesn't matter if they're doing well, if they're not doing well, that's his home team. That's who he loves. However, my husband, first and foremost, is a baseball fan. He is a baseball nerd in terms of all things statistics and facts. He loves good baseball players. He loves fantasy baseball. He loves baseball. Baseball. And his hopes was to see Mike Trout play in Baltimore. Coincidentally, and he plays for the Angels. Coincidentally, there was a daytime game. If you don't know anything about baseball, typically the only time you have a day game is on a Sunday. Every once in a while, they'll have like the Business Stand Special, which is like a 105 game. Or even like an 11 a.m. game. And it just happened to be that they were doing a stretch in Baltimore that included one of these 105 games. That was the day we had tickets for. We got to the game. We walked. Briar got all of the stuff for it being her first time. It was super cute. And I said, well, what if I told you it was the big guy's first game too? So the guy knew it wasn't my husband's first game, but he very easily obliged. And he gave him the... pin. Yeah, sorry, I was trying to grab the color. It was a pin that he wrote his name on. And it says like, you know, first game or whatever, you know, something along those lines. And they got some baseball cards. My husband didn't get the keychain and all the extra stuff, but he's like, here, I assume you're his wife? I'm like, yeah, here, you can have the bracelet, which he didn't ask Brian if he wanted the bracelet, but I'm sure Brian would have given me the bracelet. Just like a little string bracelet that had like an Orioles charm on it. It was very sweet. But we did that, and we walked for what felt like a long time because she wanted to be carried. Oh, no, not yet. But we walked, and then we got hot dogs, and we finally got to our seats. My husband got these incredible seats, you guys. Incredible. Third base, second row. Yep. And we sat down, and we weren't there very long at all. We were maybe outside for like 15 minutes. And if you guys follow me on Instagram, which if you don't, I leave all my information down below. You should follow me. I post stuff there. I go live there. Anyway, let me grab a couple colors while I'm talking here. So we were there, and then we noticed she kind of like slumped in her seat. And we're like, are you all right, baby girl? And she finally was like, no. And she doesn't usually tell us that she's not doing well with something. So we took her out of the sun and, sorry, I'm getting a couple colors here. Do I need this one? Did I do that one? I think I did that one. And we could just see, like, she wasn't really doing well. We're like, what's up here, kid? So, long story short, we got super freaked out because we thought maybe she was having, you know, like a heat stroke or sun poisoning or something. She didn't want to walk. She clung to Brian. Her face was like almost purple. It was so red. And again, we were only outside for like 10, 15 minutes, but she's been outside in hotter temperatures for far longer without reacting like that. So
drinking and eating.
So yeah. So, but it freaked us out. I mean, rightfully so. So we were like, okay, he's like, let's just go. We had been at the game for not very long, and we never even made it to the kids area that we wanted to show her. And, you know, it sucks because my husband spent a decent amount of money on tickets, and he's like, it's more important that she's okay, which I totally agree with, but I felt bad because, like, that's one of the reasons why we come to Baltimore is to go see a baseball game. And we'd like to continue that tradition with the baby. I don't know if she'd like to continue that tradition. But anyway, on our way in, we had passed a first aid stand. On the way out, because we went out the other way, we didn't find one at all. So we rushed her back to the hotel, which thankfully our hotel overlooked the ballpark, which we took her swimming the night before, and they actually have a balcony outside the gym where you can just sit out there and watch the game. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. And so we did for a few minutes, and she was really excited and talking to everyone that was out there and telling everybody, we're going to the baseball game tomorrow. And so we rushed her back, and I asked the hotel, I said, do you guys have a first aid person on staff? I didn't know, like, it's a huge hotel. It was like 20-something floors. So I thought maybe they might. You never know. It's worth asking. That, or like there was a medical convention going on, so I didn't know if there were like tons of doctors available. Whatever. We were out of state, away from home. I didn't want to have to like rush my kid to the emergency room. So this guy comes over and he's talking to us, and he's one of the security officers. And he's like, well, no, we don't have anything like that here. You know, is there anything I can do? Do you need me to call an ambulance? We'd explained to him, like, our daughter's speech was slurring. She was very, very slow with her language, which is not normal for her at all. Normally she's like a mile a minute and you can't understand her because she goes so quickly.
And she wanted to be carried from the stadium.
Right. So. She didn't want to walk, which is not like her at all. So, I'm going to kind of jump a little bit. Sorry if you guys were watching them, like, waving feverishly on the... I'm going to jump a little bit back and forth here. But anyway, he had said to us, you know, like, is there anything that you think that we could help you with? And we were like, well, do you have a thermometer? You know, we figured with COVID, they probably had to have a thermometer to... I don't know. I don't know if they ever did temperature check. Anyway, so... Yeah, that's true. And so... he's like, yeah, let me grab that for you and I'll be back. Now, we're sitting there and she's starting to come around. She's still slurring and she's still more intentional with like her speech, but she's getting her energy back. So we're like, okay, well, this is a really good sign. And again, we didn't know what was going on. Like, I couldn't find her pulse, which I knew she had one because she was very much alive. But sometimes they're hard to find in tiny little bodies. And this guy comes out with this super shitty attitude. And he's like, how can I help you? And I was like, I don't know why this guy's giving us so much attitude and why he's being so rude to us. We explain the situation again. And he's like, so you need her tested? And we're like, tested for what? And he's like, he eventually was like, oh, you just need a thermometer? And we're like, well, if you have that, that would be great. Like, we're coming in from out of town. We don't have this in our pocket. I don't want to take her to the emergency room or an urgent care just to see if she has a fever. You know, she felt very warm to me, but we were also outside. So he comes back, he takes her temperature. Her temperature is like 98 degrees or 99 degrees, totally normal. And we're like, okay, well, I guess we'll just take her back up to the room and let her relax. As we're going up to the room, I'm noticing, I can't remember if you came in a separate trip than us, no. But either way, there was 2 security guards behind me, following me, and I was like, what the hell? Now, they didn't, like, intercept us, they didn't stop us at our room, they didn't say anything, but the timing felt very weird and uncomfortable. So, that night, we ended up going to a restaurant that was, like, down the block. Nice restaurant. We had a fantastic meal. Crab cakes and steak and I don't even remember what else. It was so good. Anyway, so we're there. What are you? Did I do this color? I just did this color. And the head of security comes up to us at the restaurant. And I'm like, oh my God. And this is the guy who was giving me like the shit attitude. I would say he was like a middle-aged guy, but he like walked very authoritatively, and I don't know. I didn't have a good feeling about this guy. So he came up to us and he's like, I really just need to apologize about earlier. And we're looking at him, we're looking at each other, we're like, like we didn't know what was going on. So he's standing there and he's talking to us and he's telling us that the security guard, again, he's the head of security. So the security guard who got him and brought him out to us told him we had gotten our child intoxicated. Never did we say that. We also had no alcohol the entire trip. And not that we can't because we're grown-ups, you know, but like, so he, exactly. But he came out thinking that he was dealing with negligent parents who were getting their toddler drunk. And I was like, what? What would give him that idea? And he's like, I honestly don't know. And then I thought about it. I was like, I wonder if he took when we said her speech was slurred and she was having difficulty like walking and standing. And he just said, well, the only thing that could be is their kid was drunk. I have no idea. It's not my place to know what he said, because nothing negative, no negative outcomes happened for us out of this. If it had been, obviously it would have been a very different story. But he's like, and that's why I came out and I had this attitude with you guys, thinking that I was going to be dealing with this. And we're like, oh my God, like we had no idea. And he goes, I just want to let you guys know he no longer works for the company. And I just looked at Brian, and Brian just looked at me, and I was like, shit, did we just get this kid fired? Turns out he was already on his way out. And I guess he didn't handle quite a few things well. And,
he said his problem was he didn't listen.
yeah. And he was young. Like, I would say that guy was probably in his, like, mid-20s at the latest. And, it really bothered me because he took what we said and twisted our words.
That stuff that gets kids.
That's what I was just going to say. That, like, our child could have been taken from us because we were trying to do the right thing. We were trying to see if she was okay. And, you know, it sucks that this kid lost his job, but I'm more thankful that we didn't lose our child, because that was a very real possibility after he explained to me what was said to him. And I guess he was coming out to mainly assess to see if that's what the situation was. And he quickly determined that that was not. And he's like, I saw you guys with your daughter, and I saw that she was not at all intoxicated. And I don't know why he came up with that. And I was like, oh my God. So it was a little bit of more of a shit show behind the scenes than we realized. Like, we just thought, like, this guy had a shitty attitude and he was coming out. Like, we had no idea that he was coming out because he thought he was going to be dealing with some negligent or abusive parents. And thank God he saw us interacting with our child, and he saw our child and saw that she was okay. And you know, like he said, that's some scary stuff. So we did that. And then the next day we checked out of the hotel and we headed to my parents' house. So my parents live about an hour and a half-ish away from Baltimore, and they also live about an hour and a half-ish away from us. But it's not in the same directions. So for us, we basically go straight north to go home. And we went more like east and then north. Like we went through Delaware, we went through Maryland, Delaware, and Pennsylvania to go see my parents. And my mom had gone home the last night of our trip, and I had said to her, you know, would you be all right if we came and visited you tomorrow? Because my mom didn't want me to come visit while she was in the hospital. And my dad didn't want me to come visit while my mom was in the hospital. They both wanted me to come visit, but neither one of them would say it. You know what I mean? I don't think my mom wanted me to see her sick or frail or, you know, anything like that. And I think my dad didn't want me to feel like, he didn't want to feel like a burden to me, which, you know, these are my parents, and I never would feel that way about them. But I understood, and instead I called my mom and dad 700 times a day. We actually would talk to my mom. I think the most we talked to her was like 5 times in a day. And we would call her just to check in on her, and also she was bored as hell because she was in a hospital room. So we ended up being able to swing by my parents' house for a couple hours to see my mom. And like I said in the beginning of the video, for everyone who reached out and, you know, all of that fun stuff, it didn't go unnoticed. It was greatly appreciated. My mom has a gnarly scar from where they went in for the procedure, and My mom had a procedure one day and then surgery the next. And she is now home and she is recovering and she is feeling much, much better. She's obviously tired and worn out because, well, she just had surgery. And I was pretty impressed with, like, how good of spirits she really was in, because I've had surgery before and I was not like that. I remember I had a surgical procedure done after I had the baby. I can't remember how many months old she was. It was not much, a couple months old. And they went in to remove a very large cyst on my ovary laparoscopically. And I remember them saying, oh, it's not that difficult of a procedure. You know, you'll make it through and it'll be a quick and easy recovery. And it was not at all a quick or easy recovery. It was horrible. And so I didn't know what state my mom would be in, because I had had a procedure that excuse me, was not easy to recover from. I also had another procedure, like a year or two ago. And that one, like, I literally woke up out of anesthesia and I was, like, ready to go home. I was fine. So I know that every surgery is different and every person, feels things differently when it comes to surgery. So I'm just really, really happy that my mom is okay and she's feeling much better. And I'm really, really thankful that it went as well as it did, because again, like I said before, I will give you guys some details, but it's not my story to tell, it's my mom's story. And I don't know that she wants me sharing all of her, you know, personal details with people that she doesn't know. So I'm just going to kind of leave it at that. But you guys, the surgery saved my mom's life. And I'm super, super grateful for that. Because you don't want to think what could have been had she not made it to the hospital in time. So, and I haven't really had a whole lot of time to really sit with my thoughts on my mom getting sick and the fear and the sadness, because we already had this trip planned. And my parents were very adamant about, you go, don't worry about it, just go, mom will be fine. And every single day I kept saying, are you guys sure you want us to go? Like, we don't mind. We'll cancel our trip, we'll reschedule, whatever we have to do. We just want to make sure mom's okay. And so, you guys are kind of just getting me, like, processing these emotions for the first time here. So, yeah, I wasn't expecting to come on here and, like, weep about it. But, yeah. So my mom is doing much, much better. She's still getting, you know, pretty winded easily because she's recovering, and everybody is now coming by to pay their well wishes. And, you know, like, her neighbor stopped by and a friend stopped by, and everybody who couldn't come to the hospital has called or stopped by. And, you know, I'm very happy we got to see her. I think we scared Briar a little bit because I said to her, you know, you have to ask Mimi if you can give her a big hug, because I didn't want her to, like, barrel into my mom and it, you know, be a bad situation. And she could see my mom has this huge scar now, and she could see it. And I think she was a little bit, like, freaked out. She didn't want to, you know, touch it, or she didn't want to do anything that would make it worse or get her in trouble or anything like that. And so my parents are those people that have, like, a living room that you're allowed to be in, and then, like, a fancy living room. And the fancy living room has, like, all of the art and stuff that my daughter can't touch. The other living room is still nice, don't get me wrong, but it's not, you know, super fancy. I had a living room growing up in my parents' house that was this is only used for when we entertain people, but even when they entertain people, nobody was in there because it was a white couch and just super fancy. And that's pretty much what...
That's called a sitting room.
Is that what it's called? Okay, well, that's what we ended up in because Briar didn't want to go into the living room because she was scared. Eventually, we migrated over there, but we ended up sitting. My mom and I sat on the floor by the front door, just hanging out with Briar on like this really like floofy, giant shag carpet that they have at the front door. And once she warmed up to it, we went to the other room. And it was really nice. We ordered lunch that took 2 hours to get there. But yeah, it was really nice. It's really nice being able to spend that time with my parents, especially after them not letting me come see them kind of situation. And yeah, it is what it is. I hope that if, God forbid, something were to happen in the future, that my parents would be a little bit more receptive to allowing me to be a part of it. And not worry about whether they are being a burden or not, because they're my parents. You only get one set of parents in your life, and I'd like to make the most of what time I do have with my parents. So, I feel like I need to refill this wax, but we are at the hour mark here, so I'm going to stop that, and say my farewells now. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you enjoyed that video, please make sure to give this video 2 thumbs up. One real life, one virtual. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Come, join the Sparkle Squad. And while you're there, hit that notification bell. Dang. I do not operate on any sort of schedule. I record when my tiny human is sleeping or sleeping. Thank you guys so much for being here, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys!